watching that stuff, I'm not really paying attention to the movie. I'm actually kind of thinking about whatever story it is that I want to tell, and like it kind of occupies my conscious mind. So I sort of get inspired by that. I do the same thing. I can't really do that with reading. I'm sure you do this thing where you're reading and you realize that you've turned like 7 pages and you have no idea what happened because you were thinking about something else. That's actually really good for me because it means that I'm working on whatever the other thing is. And then the way that I completely get away from all of that stuff and just like get out of my own way and not actively work on a thing is to either make my castle in Minecraft bigger, or I go out on the patio and I make beer, which eventually serves the writing in the screenshot sense.
If I'm ever feeling like I have no talent and I cannot come up with one original idea and I just have no business working in any kind of entertainment, but I still want to have a song, I'll just go online and look for a creative, good, independent artist and just steal his arrangements. That's what I'll do. And I have a big lawyer team, so... that's a joke.
Just not feeling it.
No, good. That was a good joke, of course. No, I feel like I have I have like an app called Evernote. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's a really, really great app for note keeping and stuff. He has an Evernote and a Snuggie.
Like, you know you're in a group of nerds when Evernote gets the roof raised. Give it up for my C compiler. Yeah, that's right, bitches. Include them standard libraries. All right, what's up?
What does Evernote do?
What's the deal with regular expressions?
Evernote is a note-keeping app that lets you tag notes, and you can have like different like notebooks, and inside that like album music one, and then inside that you can have tags of like video idea or whatever, like so you can have all your, everything that has to do with politics, everything has to do with animals, everything has to do, that kind of stuff.
No buzz marketing.
What's that?
No buzz marketing. I know you're a first round investor.
So what do you use it for? If you get an idea, you just tag it in your personal notebook?
Right now, I am in probably the lowest productivity state that I've probably ever been in, and have been for, I'd say, let's see, my son is 3 years old and 3 months. Yeah, now that I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, I just do not go and record my own stuff. Like, there's just no time at all. But I'm always, like, every idea that I think would be a funny song or like a thing, I just put it in there. So I actually have a bunch of dumb ideas to try and get through someday, but there's no time to do them right now. But someday there will be. But the point is, like, to write down everything, like, just keep track of every idea that I think is worth working on, even if I can't do it right now. And someday, hopefully it's not, oh, there's this great thing about the current Pope, and then he retires. Something like that.
Spoiler alert.
I don't have a lot to add. I think we're really lucky because we have each other, so we can just stare at each other until a song comes out. And
doesn't always help.
Paul, stop staring at the double clicks.
So if you can get Aubrey to come to your house and make you tea, then you'll probably write a song, I guess is what I'm saying. And sometimes being able to turn off Twitter is the best way to do anything.
Especially when the double clicks are in your Twitter feed, and every month you get a little tweet saying, "We just wrote 4 new songs, fun!"
Do you speak for both double clicks?
Absolutely.
David, point of order. Before we continue, may I suggest that the center of this group of chairs move backward so that we make a semicircle this way so we can see one another as we're talking?
Yeah. I have suggested it.
Are you going to be the outlier?
Yeah, that's true. it still works. There's a lesson there, right? All right. Well, first of all, you guys answered the shit out of that question, so respect for that. That was amazing. You're up. What's your name and where do you live?
My name is Marshall Smith. I'm from the Northern Virginia contingent. And my question's a little less on the serious side. As you may or may not have noticed, your demographic falls into a certain, shall we say, racial profile. Many of us are white. So I was just wondering, is it more helpful or distracting when we attempt to clap along with the beat?
I am a member of the Unitarian Church. I've seen white people clapping in ways so hideous you would not believe. You guys look good.
I would just like to say, though, that I don't believe it is a racial thing. There are people of all races here, and none of you can dance or clap on it. So,
I heartily disagree.
Don't come up on my stage.
I saw some incredible dancing.
You guys were really doing a great job dancing.
no, I agree. It was incredible dancing.
In that one could not believe what one was seeing.
It was truly incredible.
Can you dance?
I can fucking dance.
Dance.
If a white guy starts dancing, it's a countdown from 10 until he does the moonwalk.
First of all, that was the worst iteration of the Running Man I've ever seen. And second of all, that moonwalk was an offense to the estate of the late Michael Jackson.
But points for not doing the Cabbage Patch. That was self-control.
All right, you're up. You don't have any issues with these people clapping, right?
No, please do not clap.
Right. Oh, all right. What's your name and where are you from?
Good morning, Brett Glass from Laramie, Wyoming.
Wyoming in the house. All right, what's your question?
Yes, well, we were talking about creativity, and as everyone knows, creativity is sort of a Zen thing. What you
I disagree.
leave out is as important as what you include. And so, I guess my question to all of the panelists is, what is it that you leave on the cutting room floor? How do you decide what to cut? Do you do it yourself, or do you use someone else to edit you? And do you ever publish it or bring it back later?
Okay.
That's a whole lot of questions, sir.
Yeah, let's do this real quick. What do you leave? How do you decide what to cut out? Let's focus on that. How do you know what's working and what's not working? And how do you get rid of the stuff that's not
cut out
working?
the things that I think are bad or stupid.
I use the warm fuzzies, cold pricklies system and just ask myself, what kind of touch is this joke giving me?
There comes a point where you have to get past the everything I do is crap portion of being creative and trust that there's good stuff in there. And then you eventually reach, well, at least I eventually reach a point where I can I've gotten too close to it and I've walked away, I've made a lot of beer, and I can look at it and know, this is the crap, okay. But sometimes you need to write the crap to bridge together the good stuff. And then you realize, oh, I didn't need to say any of this at all, and you throw it away.
I would like to take this moment to mention the fact that XKCD's Randall Monroe is here with us. And I'm curious as to Randall's answers to any of these questions as a guy who has to churn.
All right, here are the questions that we need answers for. Worst piece of hate mail. How do you be creative? We'll start with, can white people clap?
Can you moonwalk?
Go, man, answer the questions.
Almost everyone who sends me mail is really nice. And it only takes like 1 or 2 pieces of really nasty mail to make you really neurotic about answering your email, and not wanting to look at your inbox and then not noticing that there's a Q&A at 9 a.m. So, sorry about that.
But in a way, it's your fault, I guess.
And how do you be creative? What's the secret to creativity? And keep it brief because we're running late.
Giving yourself deadlines, like, covered that.
We're gonna need something else from you now because we talked about that last night. And how do you know when something's working and not working? How do you get rid of the garbage?
You have to, I don't know, for me it's, sometimes you know deep down when something doesn't really work, but you like it a lot and you want to put it up anyway, and it's really hard to tell that apart from that sort of existential dread you have about everything, but...
I like this guy. All right.
But it comes down to if it fits, it sits.
What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Jason, I'm from Montreal. It's really intimidating to ask this question with that cat staring at me. I started doing stand-up last year's cruise at the open mic, and I've been doing it non-stop ever since. Thank you so much. When you've got a bit or a song or something creative that you really believe in your heart is awesome and works, and then no audience you've ever performed it for agrees with you, how do you police the balance of, no, I'm right, they're wrong, versus I'm performing for them, I have to bow to what they like?
That's an interesting question. Randall?
That's exactly the balance that I think is really hard. Like, figuring that out is like at the heart of all of it. Because sometimes it's just that you haven't found your audience, and sometimes it's that the jokes you're telling aren't funny, and like figuring out, like for me it took a while to figure out that there were some people on the internet who like jokes about Linux commands. So I sort of feel like what you have to do is first like have confidence that there is, you know, the thing that you like is something that is really funny and does work, even if, you know, the person you tell it to first doesn't laugh. But if you keep telling it to different audiences and different groups of people, even the ones who seem like they should be on board with it, and they're still not laughing, then you sort of have to realize that it's you and try something else. So I don't know, just if they aren't laughing after a certain amount of time.
I would say if I have found, like with you guys as an audience, if I have a bit or a song or something like that doesn't work with you guys, it's pretty much out. Like I think, you know what I mean? Like I think I'll give it like maybe 1 or 2 times and be like, oh, maybe I didn't perform it right that time. Oh, maybe that wasn't quite, but like 2 or 3 times at tops. And if it's not getting a reaction, then I just I find that funny. That's fine, but it's out. Like I don't want to waste any less time with it, and you know.
Anyone else have something to add on this? This is interesting to me.
I wrote a song, it was my first like soul song. I tried to write it like the Commodores, about Larry Fine of the Three Stooges, and it starts out singing his praises, and it ends up with me making deep, passionate love with him in the song. And I performed it at Men's FunCon, and when I finished the song, it was like a fucking tomb in the room. But I love the song, and I'll probably do it again. Maybe it was the wrong audience, who knows.
Yeah, I think being just really accepting that you're going to play for different audiences, and really accepting that everybody has a different perspective, and trying to be sensitive to not getting judgmental to the audience, but they just have different life experiences. And I try to think of like any set I do that the whole thing is a joke, and the audience kind of needs to come in with the knowledge of the setup to my punchline. They need to have the life perspective to get where I'm coming from. And sometimes that's literal knowledge, and sometimes it is just like, I live in the city, I live in the country, and that kind of stuff.
May I ask? So you're always looking for an audience of Midwestern alcoholics, is that?
Exactly. Well, if I want to do just my special material that's special to me, yeah, I go to an AA club in the Midwest.
Yeah, I mean, to answer the previous question, I think it should be obvious that I never cut anything out. And consequently, I endure a lot of silence from people who don't understand what a great joke it is. But I would say that it is my greatest, now that I've transitioned into more live performance, it's one of my biggest failings, is that I do not cut the things that do not work, because I love them, because maybe they work on the page, or maybe I just like them. So the thing is, if you're willing to endure the silence and ill will and ruin the mood of the audience because you're entertaining yourself, that's your prerogative. So let me ask you very quickly, is there a particular joke that is not working for you?
Yeah, let's workshop it.
Yeah.
Want me to tell it?
Let's punch it up.
Yeah.
One joke. Tell us one joke.
One joke that's never ever worked. All right. So there's a basketball team in Washington called the Wizards, but it used to be called the Bullets, and they decided that because there's so much gun violence in the city, it would be bad to have the team named the Bullets because that's bad rep for the city, so we should change the name. And they changed it to the Wizards, but Washington, D.C. also has the largest black population in the country, so why would they choose to name their team after a rank that is currently only employed by the KKK?
With that, right? That's your opener.
I don't do it anymore.
But why didn't you ask us, do really racially charged jokes work?
Yeah, we could have saved us some time.
We could have all said no 14 times and we'd be done.
Bring up the graph.
Yeah, I don't see a way you could possibly save that joke, and I think you should cut it forever. But if I may say, the thing that sort of puts that joke on thin ice is once you start going into the rather laborious explanation of the black population of DC. Because suddenly you're doing something, first of all, you're explaining it in a very academic way. And then once you say that, everyone's like, oh God, what the fuck's he gonna say now? Do you know what I mean? And frankly, the payoff doesn't really explore that taboo or explode it. It's just a way to get to that. I mean, I think you might be able to make that joke, but you need to be a lot more subtle about what you're in.
It's what we used to call in Mystery Science Theater the Swiss Army knife joke. There's too many little accoutrements coming out that don't have pieces to each other. So go back and work on it, okay?
Well, also, speaking as a wizard, I'm very offended by that.
My apologies, Captain Roderick.
But keep working at it. Not that joke. Get rid of that joke forever.
Bring us a better joke next year. We'll see how you've done it.
I have better jokes for Friday, I promise.
All right. And good for you for saying your joke, too.
Yeah. Thank you. Racist comedian, everyone. Racist comedian.
What's your name and where are you from?
Hi, my name is Nicole Deeker. I am temporarily from Los Angeles. I have a question.
Can I just question the concept of temporarily being from somewhere?
Oh, check out somebody who doesn't live in Los Angeles and doesn't get that understood.
There's a very long story. Most of the people on this boat know it.
Well, enjoy your little secrets, everybody.
We're up here just giving and giving, but you keep your secrets under guard. Sure.
Do you read metal?
I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, look at what you're.
Yes.
Look at what
Please
your
proceed
says.
to the burn ward on deck 1.
My question is for Mr. Roderick. You said yesterday that once a plane gets in the air, it's very, very difficult for it to fall down. And I have some cognitive dissonance with that concept, probably because I'm stupid. Can you please explain to me so I'm not afraid of flying?
Yes.
Airplanes naturally want to fly.
You know what? God is good. God is good.
It is in their nature, it truly is their nature to fly. And once you get an airplane in the sky, it will keep flying. And as evidence, I would point to that Learjet a couple of years ago that suffered a catastrophic decompression at 35,000 feet and continued to fly.
Catastrophic decompression is not how you get her not afraid to fly. I believe you missed the premise of the question, Captain.
Root word catastrophe, a problem.
Let me just say, at 37,000 feet, if you suffer a decompression, the oxygen masks falling from the roof will be the last thing.
What if the bags don't inflate?
In other words, if the plane should rip open, you may get sucked out, but the plane will be okay.
The plane will steal the
What
land.
happened to the plane, John Robert? I want to know.
The oxygen mask will come down, and then you will freeze to death.
How about that black box?
You know what? You know what? I'm gonna solve your issue for you. All right? But stand up, because I'm gonna look you in the eye while I tell you this. Because I've had people in my life who are afraid of flying. What you have to do when you're on the plane is imagine a giant, benevolent hand holding the plane in its palm. No matter what happens, that hand is going to get you and the plane to your destination.
Well, in actual fact, that's not how planes work.
You know what? She had a problem that she wanted to address, and you couldn't do it. So a giant, benevolent hand had to come down and take that question and
What
return it
happened to
you.
the plane that catastrophically decompressed?
So the Learjet
It was held up by a giant benevolent hand.
No, it was not.
She's already returning to her seat, having decided never to fly again.
The Learjet, full of already dead people, continued to fly for many, many hours.
It was called the Flight of the Damned.
With all of the windows inside frozen with the condensation of the last breaths of the people.
It's still up there now to this day.
Until it finally ran out of fuel, and then the Air Force jets that were trailing it had to decide whether to shoot it out of the sky with missiles or let it just crash land safely in one of these Minneapolis fields.
Can we talk about...
Safely from the context of people on the ground.
You're writing a song about this, aren't you?
Because the people in the plane were already completely frozen, their blood was frozen.
Yeah, all right.
So it ran out of fuel and the jet just coasted into the ground.
The benevolent hand returned the
What's
to their family.
Enough about this fucking plane. What's your name? Where are you from?
Hello. My name is Thomas Fox. I'm from the Bay Area. Well, I come from the South Bay, but I work in San Francisco.
All right. Match.com, look it out later.
Which is germane to the question because I commute quite a lot. I end up on a train for about 2 hours a day, and I've got my laptop, but I never seem to write anything. This question is for the writers mainly. How do you deal with distraction? Do you need a quiet place to
Asked
write?
and answered. Next.
Is it a state of mind?
I'm talking about actual, but this is like the productivity question, right? You just want to know, how do you start working? No?
If you're on the train, just start writing about what you see on the train. Because I'm sure there's a lot of great things, just start writing about it.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
So the answer would be that you can basically write anywhere. You don't need
Use your
isolation.
environment.
Well, every
Simple.
writer is different.
And distraction is a great excuse for not writing. It's just an excuse. There are a lot of distractions.
And that day, his series of best-selling train-based novels was born.
All right, I'm Eric. I'm from Texas. Wow, I thought there was going to be nothing. My question's for Scrimshaw. I was wondering if you could elaborate on your
That's the one modest Texan.
Yeah, probably.
I take it back. Now he's bragging.
Shit! Sorry. Scrimshaw, I was wondering if you could elaborate on your experience on almost seeing Will Wheaton killed by an angry pony.
Yeah, I think it was almost exactly like what you guys all saw, but from the other side. It was like the
sexier
same
side.
thing that you saw with 100% more Wheaton ass. And there is no cover band that has that name, so no one even tried.
I thought it was a real
Wow, that sounds magnificent. You're
Yeah, what is that, like a computer programming question? What was that about?
That was the thing that happened before you got here.
Okay. What? Damn, son, all right. Someone finally dressed up for this Q&A. What's your name and who are you serving legal papers to?
Guys, it's a long story.
He's married to Paul's wife.
My name's Patrick, I'm from San Diego. I just had a question for everybody to sort of, I guess, answer quickly if you want. What is your single favorite thing you did, whether it's a song or a comic or a show or...
Ooh, best thing ever made. Is that the question?
Right.
All right, I'll answer that. It'd be amazing if I answered for all these people. But I'll tell you the best thing I ever made. And this gets back to that question about how do you know what to cut, or what do you do when you can't find your audience, no one likes what you did. The best thing I ever made, the thing that made me laugh so hard I was crying, was this fake advertising agency's website. And it was just a bunch of animated GIFs about like Toyotas and Duracell batteries. It was fake advertising campaigns. And when I made it, I was like, I have made a new, like, it's a beautiful feeling when you make something that expresses exactly your sensibility. Like I've waited my whole life to see this in the world. And it just so happens that you're the person who made it, right? Because it's reflecting your sensibility. And the other thing that's really exciting is when you're like, I've made something that is new. Like, when I made this website and I was sitting there crying with laughter, I was like, first of all, I was super stoked. And then I was like, this is new. I've never seen this before. I was like, this is gonna blow up like cover of Time magazine level of fame on this one. And it went over like a lead balloon. Like, I put it out there. Like, every so often, like once every 2 years, someone comes up to me at some event and is like, yeah, I got your pencil book, blah, 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 cartoons, blah, blah, blah. Man, JoeyTheMidwife.com was a hot site. And so you just have to...
That's marketing.
You just have to, like, yeah, do your thing. Wait, what was your question? I totally was just like...
You answered it.
Okay, all right. Best thing ever made was, yeah, for me it was that. For Randall, it was his cartoons.
Favorite comic you ever
No,
made?
you can go. Everybody go. Quick. Best thing you've ever made. Something you're super proud of.
A comic called Click and Drag a few months ago.
There's a big massive one.
I recorded an album for Christmas, which was really exciting and very short-lived, but I really enjoyed that. I agree. I think this goes back to what somebody else said. I think the favorite things I ever write are things that no one else likes because they're so specific to me. So I wrote a song that when I explain it to people, they just go, oh, that's sad. And it's like, no, it's hilarious. Trust me. I don't even want to talk about it because you won't get it, but that's...
Well, probably my kid.
Oh, shut up.
But not both of them, just my favorite one. It's still kind of dickish.
I think Will is mad because we stole his answer.
So Will, I didn't say your kid. I'm not happy.
Will seems busy, so I'll say his pro wrestling career was the best thing he's done.
Best thing ever made. Do you have it? Really?
Well, you know, I probably, it's literally about, there's like a 3-second turnaround in a song that I have called Street Meat, where the guitar and the organ and the drums all work together. It's like 3 seconds long, and when I hear it, I'm like, ah, God, that's awesome. Like, it's just a diamond in the middle of a song.
I made Furman's Kid. I'm really, really, really proud of my web show tabletop.
This sounds weird, but my hope is that it's my show I'm going to do tomorrow night. Which is partially a smart answer, but partially true, and I think it's good to reflect on the things that you did that you like, but not get too hung up on, excuse me. To not get too hung up on what your, like, the most amazing thing that you have ever done is, because it will just be distracted by a fart joke, no matter how hard you work.
a boat will fart at you, no matter how great you think you are. Scrimshaw.
Corbett. I am very present oriented, and at the moment I'm working on a comic or graphic novel that I am enjoying immensely. It's a retcon of the Christmas myths of like the popular Christmas heroes, and actually is based on a play that I did with Joseph in Minneapolis. It's really fun. But in terms of what you guys would probably know of my stuff, I am proud of one joke when we riffed the movie Titanic. And it was low-hanging fruit. It was pretty crude, I admit. But it's when they're launching off in Act 1, and the guy who plays the captain, who is also King Theoden in Return of the King, is on board looking proudly as they go out to sea, and I wrote the joke, "I'm gonna sink this bitch." I hope you remember for that.
Storm, what's the best thing you ever did in your whole life?
Wow. I'm gonna go with my guacamole. It's the perfect proportions, it's simple ingredients, it's perfection.
Jonathan, best thing.
I have to say, I'm really fond of the artificial heart level 4 thing. It's not a medium that I work in, and so it was really satisfying to just create this totally insane thing that's like basically made of futility and frames that album in a really weird way that I didn't even, it was like I built this frame that totally explained the album to me after I had written it, and it was really a fun process, and I feel like nobody else gets it, but I really get it. I don't know, it was one of those things where I just sort of found my way backwards to the stuff that I had written through this totally other ancillary thing that I did. It was very satisfying.
I'm extremely proud of Learning Town, mostly because I can't believe it's an actual thing. And I would thank you. Now it's not fishing for applause, but at least turn it in the direction of, because it would not be nearly what it is without our head writer, Josh Kagan, happens to be in the audience. Please wave everyone. But beyond that, we had a song with our old band, Da Vinci's Notebook, and it's the song that I feel like most accomplished what it was trying to accomplish. And while I'm not solely responsible for it, my favorite thing we ever did was a song called Title of the Song.
My favorite thing that I ever did was I created a moment between me and an FBI agent. During the WTO protests in Seattle in 1999, that guy was there, super excited. I wasn't sure how to approach the protests, and so I dressed as an FBI agent in a three-piece suit with a kind of a gray wig and some mirrored sunglasses and an earpiece that was an actual working radio that was somehow patched into actual police radios. And I spent the entire day walking around the protest, like spooking everybody. I would just kind of walk into a scene where people would be shooting tear gas at one another, and I would just stand there and like stare people down, and it really legitimately freaked people out. And news crews were following me around, and no one was, no one was quite sure what was happening. And at one point, I was standing in a cloud of smoke, and protesters were burning a dumpster, and cops were rioting over here, and there were guys on horseback, and I was scanning the crowd, and I looked, and there was a guy, the most nondescript looking guy you ever saw, in just a Eddie Bauer car coat, and some dad pants, and some like normal boots, and he was looking at me, and I stopped and looked at him, and he went, and he was a fucking real live FBI agent, and my blood turned to ice. And I looked around, and then I looked back, and of course he was gone. And I spent the rest of the day looking over my shoulder, waiting for the laser to ting. It was my finest accomplishment.
John Hoffman, what's the best thing you ever did?
the best part of that story is about how you guys ended bank and corporate dominance at every level of our culture. So
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for chipping in, fight the good fight there, John Roderick.
Well, you know,
Spooking a bunch of idealists. I'm so over you as of this Q&A. With your planes and your FBI culture jamming, isn't that what you call it? All right.
Write a letter to the editor of Mondo 2000 to express your discontent with culture jamming David Reese.
Wait, say that? What?
It was just words.
Oh, okay. John, best thing you ever made?
I have some jokes that like I was saying to that guy that I love so much that I keep telling to myself even when, or end on stage when no one's laughing. The one that I always think about is the joke that I wrote one day for the Page a Day calendar in my second book, which is that Jimmy Carter went on television to tell everyone to turn down their thermostats, but we all know he was in the pocket of Big Cardigan, which is just a small whatever. But what I've been thinking about lately that I've been doing more live performance are those moments that you can't recall, well, you can't ever get back, you can't ever show anybody. And recently I was thinking about the show that Roderick and I did at Largo on March 2nd, when we did the show together and I was presenting material for my book and he was playing songs. And that was just one of those nights that just worked out perfectly. And unfortunately, it's something that was never recorded and you guys will never get to experience it, ever get to know it. So it's okay for me to talk about it because I'm not buzz marketing like these fuckers.
And I'll just describe a moment really quickly, and it was on the first JoCo Cruise when I got to get on the stage with some wonderful voice talents and sing this song that I had written for the puppet show called the United Servo Academy's Men's Chorus Hymn. It was just great fun.
We have time for one more question, unfortunately, and then we have a special announcement.
Oh. All right, let's do a lightning round.
All right. I'm Mike, I'm from Boston, and I just want to know what animal all of you got with the cruise package.
None of the performers
We didn't get animals.
Yeah, we didn't get it.
Oh, you got
except for me.
You're up. Lightning round question. Has to be a lightning round question.
Absolutely, quick
Still
question.
talking. I got an animal.
I think Will's definition of lightning round is a little bit
I was
different.
given an animal by my friend Mikey, who decided he didn't need his. I am a cow. The cow is the best.
You certainly are.
What's your question? Quickly, my name is Michael Lothian from Vancouver. It's a question for Mr. Wheaton. When you were a young actor playing Wesley Crusher, did you ever think about your on-screen mother, Beverly, while masturbating?
All right, no. Lightning round, let's go.
I believe his answer to the previous question applies to this one. He is a cow.
My name's Glenn Raphael, I'm from Brooklyn. And my question is for Mr. Hodgman. Last year you told people they should quit their job. I wondered if you had heard back from anybody who actually followed that advice and had any good stories from that.
I'm glad to say no. Because I'm sure if anyone quit their job on my advice, they'd be very sad and angry now.
You should
Oh, this guy, you're pointing at that guy, you quit your job? And how's it working out? Well done, first of all.
You're the guy who made the animations, right? Lightning round, right? Lightning round. Who's next over here? Let's go. Keep it cracking like lightning.
So I'm hoping that you all have fans who maybe like to give you things, and I was wondering if you take it as given that people are going to give you things whether you want them to or not, what would you prefer them to give you, and is there anything you wish people would stop giving you?
Great question. Let's do this. Fan gifts. What do you want and what are you sick of getting? Lightning round.
I did a comic about a microscopic violin made via open source something or other, and some fans actually built an open source violin that was microscopic and mailed it to me, and then I opened the packet and was like, whoa, this is cool, and set it down on my desk and looked away and then looked back, and I haven't been able to find it since.
Double clicks.
You should give us just gold.
Anything at all that's not bulky.
I really don't need any more t-shirts. But I do need more dice.
I did a show about squirrels, and people gave me a bunch of squirrel stuff. I did a show about vampires, and people gave me a bunch of vampire stuff. So my next show will just be called Money.
Somebody once sent me a beautifully knitted classic Tom Baker Doctor Who scarf, which was amazing, and I've used it for years. So I like that kind of stuff. Body parts, not so much. Somebody actually did send our colleague Mike Nelson once bloody molars in a box. So I don't want parts of anyone's body, thank you.
Chocolate and Jaffa cakes always welcome. Please do not punch me.
Somebody once made me a Jonathan Colton action figure with a bunch of accessories in a box. It was pretty sweet. I do not like receiving enormous half pony, half monkey monster stuffed animals when I'm on tour, because by the end of tour I have about 10 of them, and I would need to bring an empty suitcase just to take all of them home. So just the small ones, just the small half pony, half monkey monsters, please.
We have no problem with people throwing panties at us. I feel guilty when people put extreme amounts of effort into decorating or making said panties, because we don't do anything with them anymore except throw them out, because I realized a year into it, it's...
What did you used to do with them?
We used to collect them. True story. We used to collect them and we'd catalog them on Flickr, the gallery of thrown panties, until I realized it was probably not the right thing for a grown man to take entire garbage bags full of panties and put them in his trash on a weekly basis. Also, we're all set on ideas for songs, thanks.
You know, if you just give the garbage man $20 a week, he'll throw away as many panties as you can put in a bag. Pro tip. I love it when people do art. I'm talking about comic art or paintings or any kind of like art that you make. And I'm trying to put together a graphic novel of all my ventures. So I'd like to crowdsource that. I don't want to pay for it, of course.
It's The World Is Ending, by the way.
That is the
We're docking
onboard.
at the same time.
That's the on. No, that's. But that's okay. That's the onboard subway passing. Sorry,
Yes,
Sally.
luckily Zoe Keating has already performed this week.
I am grateful whenever anyone gives me anything. It happens sometimes, but any little gift or whatever, I'm thrilled to get it, as long as it doesn't make me have to check my bags, like that vial of Dalmatian blood that someone gave me one time, which was artfully presented, but then I had to check my bag. No, anything, I'm always grateful for any kindness that you would dare to show me, because I will often repay it with a sneer. But I will say this, I'm also thrilled, and I'm on the record saying this, I'm happy to take pictures if that ever comes up. I don't mean to be presumptuous, but I'm also happy to say that it is my preference to share an actual moment of interaction with you than to pose for a picture. But like I said, if you feel you must have one, I'm not going to say no. And to that note, I'll just say that hot tub office hours are on for 2:30 to 4 p.m. The port side hot tub hanging over the ocean. And I will be there. What's that?
Ship time.
Ship time. No, I'm buzz marketing this thing. I want people to be there if they want. I mean, I don't care. I'm going to take a hot tub at 2:30 to 4 p.m. Will David Reese be brave enough to turn up? I don't know.
No, I'm going to the beach.
Quickly, a sincere greeting is always very much appreciated, and that's all. If you feel like giving me anything else, that's also appreciated. Body parts, true. No toenails. Got toenails one time. And giving someone like this a screenplay is really not a gift.
It is a curse.
All right,
Reese, what did you get?
Honestly, I think that's never happened to me. I'm okay with that. All right, this is the last question.
Just bend it down.
Hi, I'm David.
Hi, David.
And I'm from Florida, and I'm 14, so I can handle the language. I came on this cruise.
Are you by yourself?
Yes, I paid for my own entertainment pass.
Wait, you're not here with any grown-ups?
No, I am. But
Oh.
I'm here by myself.
Okay, got it, right.
I was wondering, do any of you know where I can get the Fuckley stickers?
I believe there are a bunch of them down in the game room.
Awesome.
That's your question? Some of us with stickers? Give it up for David! Stand up! Kids asking about some stickers.
Okay. We do have a special announcement. Also, I would ask the performers please stick around for about 2 minutes after this is done. We just have a quick thing for you all.
Oh, God.
We do have a special announcement. Let's talk about this. We're just going to be teasing you with some details. It is happening. It is happening February 23rd to March 1st, 2014. Here's the what, where, when. We know those dates already. I just told them to you. It is going to be on Royal Caribbean once again. Next year, it is going to be happening on the sister ship of the Freedom of the Seas, the Independence of the Seas. It will essentially be the same exact ship, just with different people on it. We took a long time trying to find the right itinerary and time and lots of things to match up, and it's how this worked out. It has nothing to do with that we're unhappy with this ship. I think we're all having a great time, yes? This year, it is going to the Western Caribbean. It is a 6-night cruise as opposed to a 7-night cruise. It's going to be, we're going to, hey, no, all it means is we're packing all the fun into a shorter period of time.
JoCo 1 was a 6-night cruise.
It is going to be sailing from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where JoCo Cruise Crazy 2 sailed from.
No shuttles.
Yes. It is going to be traveling to Georgetown, Grand Cayman, Falmouth, Jamaica.
Yeah, get over yourselves. Jamaica's fun. You'll have fun.
And it will be stopping at Lavity, Haiti, which is the Coco Cay equivalent in Haiti. It's their private resort that Royal Caribbean owns. What is new? We're going to have more of every cabin category. A lot of them ran out very quickly, especially like the promenade cabins. We have more of each of those, so there should be more to choose from. We also have new suites and more of those as well, including at the very back of the ship, the Presidential Family Suite, which for those, you can look it up online. It's 4 bedrooms, 4 bathrooms, sleeps up to 14 people.
So the monkeys that like to party it up, we got that for you.
Sex party. If any monkeys are going to rent that and want to have a sex party, I will room with you.
We are also... We are also working on getting the entire back of the ship. So people in the past have expressed interest in doing the longest veranda, the longest balcony. We want to possibly have the longest back of the whole freaking boat.
Built in with part of that, we also have a number, I think at least 4, of the Royal Family Suites, which is 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, sleeps up to 8. So that's pretty cool.
That might be a manageable sex party.
I just booked all those suites. So, sorry.
Yes, John Hodgman has booked all of the suites. We're switching to an all-in-one pricing system next year. There is no individual entertainment pass and cruise fare because very few people were not getting the entertainment pass. And this way, your fare is going to include everything. It is going to include your taxes, your fees, your gratuities will already be built in. The only thing you have to do is step on the ship and start buying drinks.
Does that include the sex parties?
That does not include the sex parties if they are ticketed events.
Mostly because it is a 6-night and not a 7-night, next year's cruise will, in all cases, be less expensive than this year. And even in relative terms with, we haven't worked out the exact pricing and discounts yet, the spreadsheet monkeys are still grinding on that. But with discounts that will apply to returning sea monkeys and early booking discounts, I believe in every case, even when normalized as a 7-night cruise, it will be equal to or less than this year's price.
Yes. So as Storm has said, there is going to be a discount for all JoCo Cruise Crazy 3 passengers. JoCo Cruise Crazy 4.
Except Gary. Gary, you're out.
That Gary is an asshole. That's true. And we are working, hoping, and planning to have booking open before the cruise ends. And even if that happens, we are not announcing it to the rest of the world, so you guys are getting a jump start on it. Either way.
Bear in mind that my participation has not been confirmed. I have not been invited on JoCo Cruise 4, so I don't want to put any pressure on you guys. But if you want to see us, the
sex parties are in danger, is what we're hearing.
I want next time you say sex party, I want you to see how much that 14-year-old is smiling.
Sex party. It was a great experiment and it worked. Thank you, John.
Yeah, that counts. For those of you who might be interested in purchasing a suite, on Thursday we will publish the actual hours and room numbers. We're going to open up a couple of suites, a grand suite and I believe a junior suite for you to tour. And I think one of them is actually Storm's suite. So you can see how the other half lives. And you can see what Storm's wife gets to live with on a daily basis. The information will be printed in this evening's Sea Monkey once we nail down the hours for that. But more information on all of this will be coming soon. So unless anyone has any other announcements that they want to get out, thank you all very much for coming to the Q&A.
Yeah,
Thank you, moderator David Reese.
And let's have a round of applause for the performers. They had some good answers. I like hearing what they have to say.